Today, Andreas Wuchner, a CISO and a blogger at itriskspace.com, will tell us about some unusual risks associated with social networks.
Yeah, I think right now social media is a wonderful hype topic. Everyone talks about it, and there's a lot of different understandings, and it already starts there. If you talk, is this Web 2.0, is it Web 3.0? So there's a lot to get straight. But if you just talk about the potential and the business case behind using social media, there is a lot of potential. But at the same time, there is a lot of risks. If you look out and you go, for example, to LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever, you will find groups of companies. And very often, the groups within Facebook, for example, are used and created by people which have no relation at all to the companies they are blaming for or which they relate to. And I'm wondering how an organization can really ensure that the proper information are out there if there are people out there using the company brand in a group which has no relationship to the companies. And I would expect very soon to see consultant companies and also risk groups within organization to focus much more on these social media risks which are out there.
So one risk is that I could create a group called Mercedes-Benz, and I could start posting information about the latest Mercedes product range and invite Mercedes executives as well as other people to join this group. And I actually have nothing to do with Mercedes. Correct.
You could also talk there, for example, on Twitter, saying, okay, there are problems, and most probably even without inviting the people. On Twitter, the people just join you. They decide if they want to join you. And if you get, for example, newspapers and other groups to join you and to watch and listen for you, then you can start saying, okay, there is a problem with the airbag. There is all this kind. So negative press. So the reputation, you will get in a position that you have no longer control about your reputation, which is out there.
Are there any other risks that you see with social media?
The other space around social media is if a company allows people within the organization to run blogs and wikis and social media tools on the internet in the name of the company. This is another space where you say, okay, how far can you go? Is it okay if a person in the IT department talks about problems or issues within his company, or if someone in the product group talks about special offerings which are maybe really good or maybe not, but how much control do you have, and what is the liability if something happens and the person's out there saying, oh, I got it from this web page and this is in the name of your organization, so you are liable for it. So for me, this is a really great space, and I think we need there much more guidance, or we need as organizations to learn much more there. There are laws out there, especially in Europe, which are starting to regulate that, and I think there's even one from last year in Europe which regulates this space, but it's not really known a lot. And as companies are just starting to look deeper into social media, I think we will see some breaches and some cases before we really all wake up and say, okay, look, we need to focus on that.
Andreas, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.